This year would be my year. The year that I proved everyone wrong and showed them that I'm able to make a career out of filmmaking. But the pressure of doing something useful with my life took over. Many people were saying that I should get a job in my criminology degree and just go on with life. This gave me a lot of stress. I really wanted to make that first video and chase my dreams. But perfectionism came creeping in. I wanted to deliver something that was perfect. Just to blow everyone's mind to show that I'm good at what I do. But this led to me sitting behind my desk, staring at my screen, grabbing my phone now and then, scrolling through Instagram way too often, or just laying in bed. I didn't work on that first video for months, until I found a solution for this. I think I can safely say that we've all been there. We find ourselves doing useless things, but in the back of our minds we have this constant reminder that we should get to work, which gives us a lot of stress and we can never truly relax. I struggled with this a lot. All the time I was thinking about ideas and concepts for videos. Even when I was hanging out with friends, I couldn't help myself but think about those ideas. But I never once started actually working on a video idea. And it wasn't until I actually started writing that first video that I could relax when I was going out with friends. I did the work that I needed to do, so I rewarded myself. I deserved an evening out with friends. So I think that we can all benefit from a few tips on how to stop procrastinating and hopefully stop worrying about it when we are with friends and we actually need to relax. Here are 10 tips for you. First of all, it can help to just start working on a project. And once you've started, it's way easier to keep on going. But how can we start? Well, that's when the time boxing technique comes into place. Time boxing means setting a fixed amount of time in your calendar for a particular task. So basically you just open up your calendar and you enter a block of time in which you will start working on a certain project. For this YouTube video, for example, I blocked out a few spots in my calendar in which I would write, I would edit, or I would film the video, and then I knew that in those blocks of time I couldn't do anything else except doing that one thing I dedicated it to. But I didn't give myself more time than that because I knew that perfectionism would hit again, so I dedicated myself to only work for that amount of time. Everyone has a certain amount of peak hours in a day in which you are more productive. You can be a morning person, just like I am, and you can wake up early because you know you'll be more focused and more productive in those hours. So use those productive hours in your advantage. For me, my most productive hours are from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. So I make sure to go for a walk before I start working because this will give me a fresh mindset. You may start to procrastinate when you realize that it's way harder to achieve your goals than you initially thought. A tip that could help with this is that you don't focus on the outcomes, but rather focus on the journey. When you want to lose weight, for example, you don't focus on the results, but you focus on the process of eating healthier and going to the gym and working out. Besides that, it helps when you break down bigger goals into smaller actionable steps. And this brings us to the next tip. When you are procrastinating, there is a chance that you feel overwhelmed to start working on a certain project. What can help is to break down this project into smaller steps. For example, when you have to make a YouTube video, instead of focusing on finishing the video, you can just break down that project of making the video into smaller steps like filming, editing, making the thumbnail, writing the script, for example. A good question to ask yourself is, if I were to take action right now, what's the smallest possible step I could take? When making a to-do list, it is important to keep it short. What I mostly do is writing down one important task that I need to get done today. Besides that, I also write down my daily habits that I need to do. For example, reading or going for a walk with my dog. Those are like my daily habits that I also keep track of every day. And those are on my to-do list as well. If you have this idea that you are a lazy person, it can help to ask you a few simple questions. Imagine yourself an ultra productive person. How does your life look like? And what are the benefits of this? You can write down the rewards of being more productive, and this will help you with shifting your identity. You can improve yourself to have more energy. One of the things you should be aware of is your sleeping routine. So be sure to have enough sleep every night, about 7 to 8 hours, and besides that you can exercise a few times a week, and eating healthy and drinking enough water can give you an energy boost as well. Removing all kinds of distractions will help you with procrastination. How often I find myself working on a project and then I'll get a notification. So I say to myself, just check that message and then go on with work. So I'll check my phone, I'll answer a text message, but a few moments later I find myself scrolling through Instagram. So putting your phone into do not disturb mode or just logging out of your social media apps will help you with that. What I always do to make my environment more inviting is having a scented candle on my desk. This one right here. I'll always have a cup of tea, and most of the time I'll also have a playlist with jazz music playing in the background. We often procrastinate until the deadline is so close that we don't have any other option than start working on that project. So even when you don't have any deadlines, it could be helpful to set your own. Make a list with all the small steps you have to do to hit your goal and divide them over a timeline so you know on which specific dates you have to get something done. Besides that, it's also a little bit of a psychological trick. If you don't finish a certain task by that day, it's going to jeopardize everything else you have planned for the upcoming days. And this will trick your mind into doing that task. Stop waiting for the perfect time to start working on a project, because there will never be a perfect time. If you're going to wait, chances are that you are never going to start at all. Also, ditch the thought that everything you're making has to be perfect. I always thought that my first video needed to be perfect before I published it. The truth is that nobody is going to see my first video. Maybe not even my second one or the videos to come after that. So actually it doesn't really matter if it's perfect or not, because no one is going to see them. You can tell people about your goals and your project you're working on, and chances are the next time you see them, they may ask you about those goals and those projects you were working on. This will work as an accountability person, because when you see them again, you don't want to have to tell them that you never even started working on your ideas because you are too lazy. So instead, you just do it, and next time you see them, you can tell them that you are working on your project and that you are growing and that everything is going great. I hope one of these tips was helpful for you, and now we can start tackling the problem of procrastination together. But if you really want to dive deeper into this topic, I really would recommend to watch my previous video on procrastination, because before you can actually start working on procrastination, it is very important to know why you procrastinate in the first place. And from there you can start to apply the tips I talked about today. So be sure to watch that video first if you haven't already. Let me know in the comments down below which was your favorite tip and which tip has helped you the most. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. And remember, all great things come from small beginnings. See ya!